What's going on, everyone? Lombard here with Truck Parking Club. Welcome back to another edition of the Truck Parking Clubhouse. I'm your host, Michael Lombard. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week out there. Happy Wednesday, by the way. Wednesday, middle of the week. Normally, we run these back every Monday at 7:30. So mark your calendars. We'll be back next Monday evening at 7:30. But coming at you with a little Wednesday night special. So wherever you're tuning in from, whether you're over the road, you're at home, you're working, wherever you're at, you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're at, feel free to like, share, and share the feed. Drop a comment, drop a question. We're bringing on one of our partners who we work with here today. If you're coming at us on Instagram, again, drop a comment, any question you've got. We're just going to be talking trucking, truck parking, all that sort of good stuff. Again, we do these every Monday night at 7:30 p.m., but we're coming at you live on Wednesday night. And hopefully in the near future, we could do a couple more of these during the week because we just love, honestly, when it comes to everybody at Truck Parking Club, we're pretty passionate about what we do, what we talk about, and the drivers out there who are doing the job. And having been a driver myself, I'm a big fan of getting driver stories out there, kind of what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, especially on the parking front, and especially about the other issues going on in the industry. If you're not subscribed already to Tail Lights, it's a weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday at 7 p.m. It's a driver-focused newsletter that I want your input from, actually. So if you're a driver and you've got pictures, content, stories, I'm looking to feature that in this newsletter. And the reason why I do that has everything to do with my family's old newsletter. So my family used to own Lombard Brothers Incorporated. If you're watching live, you can see these are old newsletters. And what they have is, they would post pictures and stuff of what the drivers were doing. And I kind of want to do the same thing within Taillights is put in that newsletter what drivers are doing, what drivers are saying, and all sorts, but also fill it in with news going on throughout the industry. But other than that, without any further ado, I want to bring one of our very good friends onto the show. He works with us. So this gentleman is a great guy. I've known him for years, and he's somebody who's super passionate about the industry, somebody who wants to leave the industry better than he found it. I want to bring him up onto the stage. He's the TruckerIceBox.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Where are you at?
I am in Laredo. It is very hot.
Oh,
That's why I went shopping.
Yeah, I was going to say the shirt, you either must have been in the Keys, Southern California, or somewhere nice.
I'm heading to Florida, so
Okay.
that might work.
Coming out of Laredo, which way are you going to take kind of going to so you're taking something from Laredo to Florida?
Yeah.
Which do you get on 69 and like cut up and go through Houston?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter. I mean, it just kind of depends on the day, but I'm gonna be running at night, so yeah, I'll be going up that way.
Perfect. Hey, man, I know you're down in Laredo. Laredo's not, it's in trucking world, it's not terribly far from me. But again, I always put this out there to anybody and really any driver, if you're ever through I-35, in and around the Central Texas area, definitely give me a holler. And if we can make it work, obviously, if you're driving, you got to make your hours either way. But always would love to buy a driver some dinner, help them out, do whatever I can if you're ever passing through on 35.
Yeah, for sure. I actually went by you the other day, but I was in a hurry. I couldn't stop anywhere. I had to get a HEB. It actually took too long loading me, so I had to hurry up and get down there.
Were you at HEB in San Antonio?
Yeah. Fun night last night.
That could be
ran out of hours there.
Yeah, that could be a tough HEBs. HEB they're super busy right now with the floods in Central Texas, and they're definitely doing a lot to help out with the flood victims and a lot of the flooding that's gone on in the nearby area. And their drivers are doing well. HEB is a very renowned brand to Texans. They definitely love HEB, but caveat: going to the distribution center sometimes is very, can be mind numbing.
Well, over the years, for the guys that have been back there, that used to go there like 20 years ago, it's gotten a lot better. I mean, going to that old location over on the north side of San Antonio, that used to be a nightmare. You'd spend like 24 hours there. And so this new facility that they got, it's actually a lot better. And I appreciate what they do for the flood victims and stuff like that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. Hey, Matt Dow, thanks for jumping in. I-80 Truck Show. I personally wasn't there. Truck Parking Club was there. It looked like the team had a great time up there. There was some stormy weather. I know that there was some rain. There was a rain out for a little bit, but from what I saw in the videos, I know that Iowa 80 was looking good. But hey, man, so number one, would love to let's first figure out let's hear your story. What so kind of walk us through, where are you from? How'd you get into trucking?
I'm actually from Texas. I live up in the DFW area. Um, I got into trucking at 21. Uh, my my son had just been born, so it was about 3 months after he was born. I was sitting there. I was working at Walmart, and I had a second job I was working, and I was like, man, I really got to do something. I got to like step it up, And back then, being a truck driver was a respectable thing, and I was like, well, I was looking at it. It's like either trucking, medical, or sales. That in the newspaper. That was the three things that were in the newspaper, right? Back then, before Twitter and LinkedIn and all that. So those were the three things that had the most job listings, and I wanted something secure. I wanted to get into a career, and so I went with trucking. I didn't think I'd make a very good nurse. I mean, if you can imagine me walking in to take care of somebody, it'd probably scare the hell out of them,
You
But
taking some blood? You taking some blood out of people?
no, no, no. I didn't. I'm saying it would be horrible for them. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I'd make a good nurse. But
Well, they're always looking for freaking strong dudes, I heard.
yeah, they are. They are. It wasn't my thing. I'm not very medical savvy. I was very interested in trucks at the time, and my son was my most important reason why I did it. I wanted to get something solid, making more money and stuff. So I just said, I talked to my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, well, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to be a truck driver. And I just made that decision. And that's what I did. I went to trucking school. I had to take a little bit of money that I had, and I went to Swift Trucking School down in San Antonio, and did that. Went out with a trainer, Ronnie. Still friends with him too. Great guy. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, man, like I was so worried. I think everybody worries about what trainer they're going to get if they go through that process as like with a big company, worrying about what trainer they're going to get. I think that's a big deal. And he made a real big impact on my career because he actually taught me how to do stuff and really put a lot of work into me and time. And so with that, I ended up getting into training myself. So, and kind of went from there. Do you want me to keep going or just that beginning part?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. So what year did you get your CDL?
2006.
So 2006. So we're coming up on freaking 20 years next year. You're at 19 years.
Yeah, I'm in my 20th year right now. Yep.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, and not sure how often you hear this. I assumed that you were like maybe like between 32 and like 35 ish. So
Oh,
yeah, I didn't realize that you had that much salt kind of behind you had that much salt in that t-shirt you're wearing. So that's
yeah.
remarkable, man. Almost had a 20-year career. That's freaking badass.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
So yeah, I mean, you have a good experience with your trainer. That's, I could tell you, I felt like I was blessed with the guy I had. I could tell that he definitely cared, and he wanted what was best. What I found out later from him was being a trainer is very difficult because some of the students he would get, and we've got another one of our partners. His name is Jeremy Rames. He works over at Rail Transport, and he's if I wanted a trainer, he's like the ideal guy. And like, but when it comes to certain students, there's not everybody not everybody's like, such as yourself is, getting behind the wheel. And sometimes I think coaching, and from a coaching and training standpoint as a trainer, it's a tough job.
I did it for 7 years.
And where were you a trainer at with Swift?
Swift. Yeah, mainly Swift. I did a little stint with another small company, but yeah, I actually worked at Swift 2 times, and I don't know what's going on with them nowadays, but I know the times that I was with them, it's not like people make it out to be. It's actually a really good company. The only reason why I came off the road is I was or came off the road with them was because I had went through a divorce and stuff, and on the second time I was there, and I was just dealing with a lot of stuff and decided to take some time off. So
Yeah, no, and that's understandable. Life happens. You got to do what you got to do, and then you get back to it. But yeah, so what's trucking been like recently for you? Who are you with now, and what are you basically running?
I'm with a company called Value Truck. They're actually out of Justin, where I'm from. Well, one of their facilities is they're actually out of Arizona, but Arizona and Justin. But uh, they're pretty good. They run drive-in, flatbed, RGNs, different things like that. They do a lot of RGN stuff. Um, but yeah, I do van trailers and stuff. I just go pretty much I-10, I-20. I go some other places. I was up in Washington a couple weeks ago. Uh, but we pretty much go everywhere. But
No,
a lot of lanes in the south. West and east.
I've heard good things. I'm friends with a gentleman on Facebook who works for Value Truck of AZ. He was a driver. I don't think he's driving now. I'm not sure if he's a fleet manager. I'm not sure his exact role. We connected in a Facebook group, but yeah, they're white trucks. It says Value Truck of AZ on the side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And yeah, you guys move some huge, like Value Truck moves some big freight out of like Southern California, big stuff that comes from overseas, like big generator stuff, oil field, like they're moving super heavy equipment and then everything. I haven't heard a bad word about them. So they're a good place to work for.
Yeah, I haven't had any real big issues. You know, unless you've just tried everything, there's ways to make things work at companies. Um, but there's a lot that I look for. I'm kind of picky. I want to drive a Freightliner. I want to go at least 70 miles an hour minimum. I don't want a lot of safety stuff on my truck. Like I don't want the truck beeping at me all day. And they're big on safety, right? They're real big on safety. Some of the stuff is actually kind of strict, but at the same time, they don't have all the beeping stuff, and I think that bothers a lot of drivers. You don't have the rattle boxes going on inside the truck. You don't have the little sensors on the front. Can't really see it, but I don't have the thing in the windshield like most Freightliners do. So I know that's needed for some new drivers, but I just don't think um, for the experienced drivers, guys. I mean, if I've been out here 20 years and I haven't hit nothing, I mean, give me a little bit of, you know, give me some space.
You should be graduated into a sort of like you kind of earn that. And what yeah, that sort of technology, lane deviation, the automatic braking stuff, that's like there's so much pushback because I could see it. Passenger vehicles, sure. You own a car, you own a new Mazda or whatever, it'll do it, it'll keep you in the lanes or whatever. I get that because you're only driving so much. But when you are consistently driving a vehicle that is going 3,000 miles every single week and all you're doing and you've got to hear that all the time, and you've got to make some split second decisions, and you've got to make certain calls with cars merging, and you're just hearing in your ear, it can make somebody want to go postal. And I agree, that's a conversation that good friend of us ours, Gord McGill, he says, like, if you're a 20-year veteran trucker with because at 20 years you're probably at over 2 million miles or some point, like if you've got that much of a safety record, you should be graduated into a system to where you shouldn't be required to have all that stuff because of that tenure. Like at a certain point, you should have some sort of, just like you would in any job. Like if you did a job for 20 years, like you should probably have like a higher role or what have you. Like if you're a 20-year trucker, you should have some autonomy over what's going on with your equipment. And that's my opinion. I think that's the opinion of a lot of other people.
Yeah, if you've been safe, of course. Like if you've been safe, like no speeding tickets, no reckless driving, So no accidents, like within reason, I mean, stuff does happen. I mean, obviously, non-preventable accidents happen even with the million-mile guys. But yeah, it should be set up like kind of like they do with the like plumbers and stuff. You got different levels of experience and whatnot.
Yeah. So we got a good friend of ours, John. He's asking, how did you get them to take the wingman out?
The wingman.
Yeah, John, you're gonna have to clarify what the wingman is. He follows up.
I'm
He says,
guessing.
yeah. He says, what about the fact that the auto braking goes off for you traveling in the right lane and somebody getting off the exit lane? At least some Kenworths, his wife Nissan does it. But yeah, the wingman, what do you think that is?
I'm guessing he's talking about the thing in the windshield. Um,
Yeah. Is it
yeah,
the camera?
but,
Yeah.
but another thing I want to bring up is on that, right? One big issue in trucking right now is mental health. Like, how does that help with drivers' mental health with all that beep? I mean, it's in some guys' trucks, friends of mine that I talk to all day long, beep 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 beep, and some drivers need it. The rookie drivers when they get out here, give it to them for a little while. But when you're out here every single day, like you said, 3,000 miles a week, and you got that stuff going off all the time, and it'll go off even if you're doing everything right because cars cut you off and stuff. It's just constant beep beep beep. So
Yeah, we want to we can, a lot of people will go on places like LinkedIn and they'll talk about mental health and not realize, and it's like, yeah, we get the big parts of the mental health. Like the job has some isolation, the job has some obscure hours, and it has like those are the big things. Like the big thing that we talk about when it comes to driver mental health is the isolation factor. The isolation factor is kind of the crux of the mental health issue. But really, there's a lot of people. I'm not going to lie, like there's a certain I found community still while I was over the road via Twitter and all of us on TikTok and those drivers. Like you could still find community despite the isolation. And I mean, you'd be talking on the headset throughout your day with whoever making the calls, playing around on the CV. But the isolation is also a perk of the job. I think it's a reason why people get into it. But like you just said, all those other bells and whistles and all that other stuff going off, that is what is going to make people lose their mind. And then kind of like you're saying, he's talking about John was talking about the little camera on the window. This idea of kind of being watched at all times, or like a kind of a camera on you, and the person who's watching you isn't somebody who's engaging with you, kind of can screw around with your brain. Got your buddy right there for anybody who's watching the video live.
you talk about how being alone and stuff like that. When you sit in a truck, for 48 hours or longer, or whatever, sometimes you need someone to talk to. Now, I don't sit here and talk to this guy. I actually got this as a joke because my dispatcher was sitting me so much. Not that it's her fault. It's been slow. It's been an industry thing. But I ended up getting that as a joke because, like, if you feel like a castaway on an island when you're stuck in a truck, or a jail cell or something like that.
Dude, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Full transparency. I had a couple two tree stuffed animals on my bed. I had a Clydesdale that I got from the Anheuser-Busch brewery when I was doing like a 34 in St. Louis. I was like, I'm gonna get this stuffed animal. And when I had my bed made, I had these little things that I would get from like travel centers. A couple of those stuffed animals in there. And full transparency, I got no shame in my game admitting that because hey, they're a little extra comfort too. If you're rolling around, something to lean on to, instead of grabbing onto your pillow. Freaking, I'd wake up drooling some nights. I'm not gonna lie, some of the best sleep I've gotten has been in that truck.
Oh no, yeah, no. It's hard for me to sleep outside the truck. Honestly, I sleep so much better in the truck. Man, yeah. I love the truck running. Give me a reefer. I'm one of those guys. Like
Yeah,
have the reefer running on full blast. Like
get the white
you
noise.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man. Let's dive into it. I would love to know when did you first hear about Truck Parking Club?
Okay. So I was up in Nevada, and I got paid some extra money to sit for a few days, and it was right after July 4th weekend, and I like going to do stuff when I have the money and the time. Like I mean, like right now, like I'm gonna be hauling butt to Florida, but I had time, so I wanted to take some time off and go to the lake that was local and do some fishing and just go hang out, do some grilling and whatnot. But we don't have any facilities up there. And Flying J, TA, all those, they have truck parking too, paid, but they won't, all of them. I might be wrong in this, but I can't find any more that will let you drop a trailer on their lot. Every time I've gone and asked, they won't let you drop a trailer. They'll tow it. So I looked at Truck Parking Club. I was like, okay, well, let me check this out. And there's this nice spot up there. It's a warehouse. It was a secure lot, had cameras, people there. It was clean, and that was a cool thing about it. It was so clean. But yeah, literally like how y'all talk about an Airbnb. That's what it was. But I was able to drop my trailer there and know that it was going to be okay. I still locked it up and all that, but I left it there. Went to the lake, had a good time, spent the weekend at the lake, went back, hung out there. I ended up getting another night there because I liked it so much, and my next load wasn't picking up the next day. And I was like, I really don't want to go deal with the truck stop, because there's so many problems at the truck stops. So I was like, I spent the extra money and stayed another night. And then I was sitting there thinking about, I was like, this could be like a thing, like guys that want to, be on vacation like I am, and want to go do stuff around the country and whatnot. This is actually giving me an opportunity to do that with a company like the one I work for that doesn't have facilities everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a super use case for that. So when you went to the lake, I'm curious. So you dropped your trailer there. Did you kind of drive your truck down to that lake almost like it was an RV or a camper?
Yep, went to the state park in the truck. I left my trailer at the parking club.
Yeah, I mean you can't really beat that setup. Going down to the lake too. You had your own place to stay. You didn't need to worry about renting getting a tent, a cabin, or something like that. But you had a place to drop the trailer.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually the lake. Anybody that might be in Laredo, the state park here in Laredo, you can. I don't take the trailer. It's not that much room. But if you drop a trailer at a truck parking club, you could go to a state park in Bobtail over there, and you go do some fishing. Go swimming. You know, maybe find some hot babes. I don't know. But lots of stuff to do. Other than being in a truck stop that's like covered in urine. So I'd much rather be at the state park.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly where I'd rather be. Yeah, you get in a tough situation when you got a trailer, when you're attached to that trailer, it limits you to where you can go. And that's probably been one of the best things about expanding this network across the entire lower 48 is now you have that option because again, as you said with the truck stops and the travel centers, and anybody can jump in the comments and correct us, but for the most part, I remember seeing like TAs especially have signs that like say there will be signs that say no drop trailers, and there will be, and they can get booted or so on. I've also seen videos on TikTok where of drivers complaining about a trailer that has been sitting at a TA parking lot and hasn't been booted or towed while the rest of the other spots are all full. And so in that's so there's kind of like a double-edged sword where they're not allowing it and then sometimes they don't even enforce it, so it's just like an open space for somebody who is driving doesn't even get it. But you won't run into those issues with truck parking club because if one of our properties is full, then you would know you wouldn't be able to book it on the app. And any of our properties that are on the platform that happen to have that happen to be travel centers, you can't book those in advance. You need to park and then pay before you stay in them. So it works out for you. So when you were in Vegas going to the lake, was it like Google, Facebook, or just like from TikTok?
No, I just stuff I've done before. I've actually it was way before truck parking club, but I've been to the what is it called, where that has the presidents. What is that called? Um,
Rushmore.
Rushmore, yeah, Mount Rushmore, yeah. I've been there in a truck. You can go there in an RV when you're bobtailing, and you're off duty. You're actually considered an RV, so you're not restricted. You know, as long as an RV can get in there, a bobtail can get in there. And
Yeah,
then
man.
that should also be under law too. I mean, as far as I know, like if you're off duty PC, um, and whatnot, your truck is considered a recreational vehicle, I think. But don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not under a load, if you're not under a load and you're PCing, like if there's nothing, I mean, there's really no reason why you can't. And fortunately for you, where you find lucky, which is why I think highlighting value truck of AC, it's great you work for a company that allows its drivers to go out and do that. Where other companies they don't allow that. But the truth of the matter is, and I think that's another one of those dark horse issues that kind of flies under the radar. We talk a lot about parking, we talk about pay, we talk about other things, fraud a lot in the industry, but just the day to day and the lifestyle of the driver is, if you are not working, not under a load, you have to do that 34-hour reset. If you're the driver of that truck, yes, I understand if you're a company guy, you don't own it, but you are still employed. Like you still have a right to kind of live a certain lifestyle. And I think it would help reduce turnover if companies kind of embraced allowing drivers that autonomy. The work's getting done, the hours are getting put in, the miles are getting put in, and so being able to have opportunities like you have are awesome.
Well, I actually have two phones, so I'm on this one, but this is my other phone. I've got a work phone and I've got a personal phone. And the reason for that is because when I'm on my 34s, I turn my work phone off. So, like, that's my time. So I go do stuff, you know? That's just, got to enjoy the time that you have.
Dude, that's high speed right there. When you got two phones, that's next level, dude.
I mean, it's cool until you get the phone bill, but
But so I need to know, where'd you come up with the name Trucker Icebox?
well, it was when I started training. When I was a trainer, um, I had a student. It was actually really cool. It was old school Chicago guy. Like I'm pretty sure he was in the mob, but I don't know for sure. But it's one of those things you just don't talk about. But but he was like, man, he's like, yeah, you should be like called Iceman or something, right? Because I keep the truck cold. And if anybody ever rode with me, they'd probably have to wear a jacket. My son did actually. But so he was like, yeah, you used to be Iceman. And I was like, man, I was like, Iceman is from the Smokey and the Bandit. I was like, I don't want to take that name. And we were sitting there thinking about. I was like, well, William Perry was like somebody, and he was from Chicago, and William Perry was with the Bears. You know who he is, the fridge.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ain't gonna remember that. That was like back in the '80s, but yeah, he was fridge.
85 Bears or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was born in '84, but so I was like, all right, well, do something like that. He's like, well, what about Icebox? That's kind of like a fridge, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let's go with that. I was trying to figure out a CB handle at that time. I didn't have one yet. Actually my trainer Ronnie, he was calling me the Kool-Aid Kid when I was on the truck with him. Uh, that's just between us, though.
That's his name for you.
Yeah. No, it was. It was. I mean, we've been friends ever since then. So, but yeah, when I was on the truck with him during training, he called me the Kool-Aid Kid because I used to drink Kool-Aid. But yeah.
How cold's your truck right now?
So I mean, I can look. It's hot out here, though, man. It's like 120 in Laredo, so it's not exactly cold in the truck. And I turned the air down so y'all could hear me.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Laredo's about 4 hours south of here, and I know it's probably like 98 here today, so it's probably definitely in the triple digits down there. But that's awesome. No, that's a cool name. That's what you ride with. That's the brand. But so speaking of the Trucker Icebox, I mean, you're active on social media. You post a lot of content. I got to ask you, what do you, but besides parking, what do you think is probably one of the biggest issues kind of going on in the industry, or like what's one of your biggest concerns that kind of like kind of grinds your gears, or yeah, what do you think is the kind of one of the biggest issues in the industry that kind of needs to be addressed?
Well, as much as I'm on social media, like not like posting, but as far as viewing everybody, right? Because I don't just post stuff; I watch stuff too. So, one thing that I've seen the last couple of years is the mental health thing. It's a big thing. Like every day, like I mean, like several videos a day. It's somebody, they're and not talking bad about them. Don't get me wrong, but like they're talking about they're lonely, they're depressed. I've gone through stuff myself, but it's stuff like that, or they're getting out of trucking because they can't handle the stress, different things like that. So like when the government here, say next year, whatever, starts saying, "Oh, there's a truck driver shortage," well, what they need to do right now is focus on keeping the drivers that are leaving the industry because of this stuff, because of the mental health, and because of the stress and all the beep 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 and all that. Worry about that right now instead of later saying, "Oh, we got a truck driver shortage." And so keep the ones that are coming in, because the ones that are coming in that are willing to do this job, because if this job was easy, there would never be truck driver shortages, would there? So yeah, I think mental health is kind of a big deal right now.
No, it's good you bring that up because we actually talked about that a couple weeks ago with our guy Ralph. And we were talking briefly about I think the number of drivers who do pass away on the job, and not so much by their own hand, but in general, like just from what the job, the toll the job can take on you, but it's still and it's kind of an egregious it's an egregious thing for an individual to pass away like while they're away from home on the job. But the mental health one is incredibly huge, and it's important. I was actually on Twitter, kind of talking about this, and that's exactly. And I went on another gentleman's podcast the other day, kind of talking about what we're doing at Truck Parking Club, and I'm a huge community guy. Like I'm pretty convinced that you know when it comes to what people need for their mental health, it's really we could talk about therapy and all that good stuff, and I think that stuff works to an extent, especially if you've been through a traumatic event. I think it can work in sort of like I think in different situations, but overall, again, like you just talked about the mental health. Community I think the biggest factor. It's what motivates and drives people. And yeah, as you said, when there is the level of turnover there is, it's hard to kind of capsulate that community. And I'd say it's a huge part of what, besides making more available truck parking for drivers out there, what Truck Parking Club is trying to do is reestablish that community. If you go on our social media channels, we're posting pictures. We're interviewing the cab over guys, the guys with the Freightliners, like the old school guys. We're talking to 20-year trucking veterans. Like, oh, sure, we love newer drivers and everything like that. People want to enter the industry, but like we find incredible value in the people who've like kind of built this industry and bringing in community around that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do with some of my stuff too. That's why I started the conference line. I actually started it last year. Um, I really didn't promote it very well, so that might be my fault. But I
Let's
started it. Yeah.
tell us about that. I was going to say, yeah, go into that because this is something we'd love to help. We'd love to. I want to hear more about this.
All right. So it's not like I didn't like think this up. This is something that's been going on for like years. This whole the chat line, the conference line, the phone line, whatever you want to call it. It's you get drivers on the phone line, that are you can meet people on the CB, and realistically, most guys are only going to talk like a couple miles. So whenever y'all split up, like there's no keeping in contact, right? Unless you tell each other's phone numbers. But the conference line, what it does is like people that are on TikTok and stuff, everybody can come together on the phone line and like as a community, as the brotherhood, the sisterhood of trucking, bringing that back together. That I would love to be able to do something like that. I mean, I'm trying to give it to the drivers. I paid for it myself, so it's there, it's available. That's one reason why I bought my grill and some of the other stuff is like, I mean, I could grill in my truck, but I grill outside. I mean, somebody walks up, they're like, "Oh man, looks good." And it's like, "Well, here, sit down, have a burger." We used to do that stuff. That used to be a thing in trucking. Like I don't know where it collapsed. I really don't. Maybe it was COVID. You know, yeah. I mean, actually, it might have been COVID, but we lost that. Like there's not there. It's still out there. It's just not as much as it used to be. I mean, we used to get together out in Ontario, Party Row, right? I mean, besides the commercial company, okay, Party Row was a party. We partied out there. We grilled a lot of fajitas, stuff like that, obviously. But we got together. There wasn't social media. We came together. We weren't in our trucks like watching stuff online. We got together, we hung out, we talked on the CB. So if me, spending a little bit of money on a conference line and a grill, and maybe I could get that stuff going again, even if it inspires somebody else to go do it, I'm all for it. I'm not always good about talking about this stuff, so like I don't know if I really put it out on my social media, but that's what I do in person. Like I do stuff in person too, but it's not just like it's not all for show on social media. I'm not one of these guys out here trying to get rich. I got money. This is what I do. I make money. I don't need to make money on social media. But actually, not trying to get off subject here, but talking about that. Um, so for July and August, my commissions and stuff, I'm actually with Truck Parking Club. I'm actually donating to Operation Roger.
Yes, no, this is awesome to hear. So for anybody who's tuning in again, so Trucker Icebox himself, he partners with us. He's a part of our partner program because he's a gentleman. If you haven't heard for the last 37 minutes, he wants to leave the industry better than he found it. And so working with us, he has the ability to give free parking to drivers, which he's able to, and for him talking about the brand and spreading the mission, getting some free parking out there, he's able to earn some commission back his way. And that's why we do these live streams. And we want to help boost his content in a way because he's trying to reach people to help drivers get what they need, free parking, and dive into a community. And so Operation Roger, so that's the thing. So in your promo code, so if you need parking out there, by the way, you can use the promo code ICEBOX, all lowercase 20. And if you use that code for parking spot, it will go you getting that free parking or getting $20 off that booking will go to this. Now, what is Operation Roger?
Operation Roger Trucker's Pet Transport. Um, we pick up animals in need, whether it be everyday people or truck drivers. We prioritize truck drivers, and we pick up animals across the country on routes that we go down. Like there's transports of pets every day. Some of them are some of them are paid. Some of them are voluntary with like everyday people. And then there's us with trucks that can actually go long distances without all these little stops along the way. So what we do is we bring them on the truck with us and we treat them like one of our own. And if one of the volunteers has a pet, they bring them on with their pet as long as they get along. They work that out beforehand. And then we treat them as our own. And they ride with us and until we get through where they're going. It does take a little bit of time. It's not like Amazon. But it's free. It's free. It's free for drivers that might, end up in the hospital on the road. Say they get in an accident, and their pets with them. If you don't have a plan, they will. If you're in the wrong place, like California, they will euthanize your pet if you don't pick it up in a certain amount of time. So having somebody like Operation Roger, we can, get out there organized and get the pet picked up, especially for truck drivers, and get it to where it needs to go. And we've done that for years. I think Operation Roger's been around like 15 years. I've been with them about 11. I've done lots. That's actually one reason I got onto social media, because I thought the transports were so amazing. Like being able to be there when someone gets their pet that they thought they'd never see again. Like it's a very fulfilling thing. It's amazing. And I started recording it years and years ago. That was actually one of my first YouTube videos, and uh, have been doing it since, pretty much. I mean, it's been off and on, but for the most part, I've been with them for 11 years. I'm also, as of this year, I'm actually on the board with Operation Roger now. And one of the few people that are transporting, we actually need volunteers. So if you're, a caring, loving, pet loving person, we could definitely use you.
So yeah, you guys are so Operation Roger's recruiting drivers. So if you're a driver out there who's willing and able to possibly transport a pet if need be, you guys can take like you're looking for signups. Where can people go to kind of find that? Can they find you, or is there a
They
website?
can find, yeah, they can find me. You can go to operationroger.com. We're also on Facebook. I've been trying to set up some other stuff. Our website's a little out of date. I'm actually working on updating that. It's a lot of work to modernize it. I just started working on it this year. So, but right now, yeah, you can go to operationroger.com. There's applications on there. If you have any problems, you can reach out to me or call the phone number on the website.
Dude, that's awesome, man. So once again, if you're just jumping in here, if you need parking tonight or tomorrow or this week, wherever, again, you can use that promo code ICEBOX20, which I dropped in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. So that's ICEBOX20, all lowercase. And if you use that promo code, $20 will go towards Operation Roger, which will help transport pets for drivers who need them transported from point A to point B and aren't able to do so, which is a pretty awesome thing. Dude, I want to, like I said, I don't want to take up your whole night, but it's awesome to have you on. We're going to do, we'll do this again soon for sure. Where can the people find you on social media?
You pretty much just Google Trucker Icebox.
Google TruckerIceBox, and they're gonna wake up to yours truly in the Hawaiian t-shirt.
Well, yeah, maybe. Hopefully that's what. Yeah. But yeah, I'm on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I actually would love to have some more YouTube followers, because I've never really been able to get anything going on there. So, but yeah, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, and I'm gonna actually be starting on Rumble here soon.
No, it's good. It's good to be aware. And you mentioned something awesome about content. Content's great. It's good to get it out there for messaging. It's where people are. It's where people are getting information. It's where communities being built. But as you said, there is sometimes nothing better. And I know this from the fitness community in Austin, in-person events, like it happening, and like you grilling out in the parking lot. Like if you're a driver out there and you're watching, like you just motivated me. Like I'm about to bring it to the team and be like, hey, we should be going to like rest areas or something. We should just be in
Go
parking
to the
lots.
truck parking clubs.
Yeah, like we can go to some of the properties and just start
Yeah,
doing
yeah, man. I
doing
let me know when you do it. I want to go.
yeah, like and you get some music out there or something. That's why I did that. I don't want to like I don't want to I know we're running on time, but like and when I would do workouts in the parking lot, and I'll never forget it, I was at the Petro in North Little Rock, and I had my my mat out there, the kettlebells, the dumbbells, a jump rope, and I was just doing a little circuit work. I was doing like a 45-minute workout. This guy came by, this guy came by like and it like made his entire day. And he was like, he's like, can I do some bicep curls? And I was like, dude, absolutely. I was like, let's hang out. And we just talked and did push-ups, swung the kettlebell around, and we just talked for like 20 minutes. And he was like, man, he's like, people don't be out here no more like that. And it's like, if you're just doing something outside where I understand if there's weather or what have you, but if, weather's permitting, you're able to just be outside of that truck. That's why I like going for walks, even if you're just walking around or whatever. Like if you're walking around and somebody else, like People are attracted to that type of energy, and clearly there is a demand for it. So keep doing that. Keep going out grilling in the parking lot. I'm about to start trying to figure out a way to do that myself. And let's keep rallying for that. Let's keep rallying behind some community. But dude, thanks for coming on. If you need to find Trucker Icebox, look them up on everywhere social media. But where are you headed to next?
No, Florida.
Florida. Whereabouts in Florida?
Jacksonville.
Awesome, man. So yeah, that's a good stretch. You got a good stretch of road in front of you. If you're driving at night, luckily, hopefully you don't hit some traffic, but stay safe out there. And for you guys tuning in, appreciate you coming out to the Clubhouse. We will be back next Monday night, 7:30 p.m. So mark your calendars. And again, if you are somebody out there who is passionate, just like Trucker Icebox, and you want to leave the industry better than you found it, and you want to team up with Truck Parking Club, please do not hesitate to reach out. We'd love to enable you and give you the opportunity to help some drivers get parked, to give them some free parking, and also tell your story, whether it's on the Clubhouse, get your stuff in the newsletter and get your word out there and keep building and growing this community. But with that, we're going to take this one back to the bench.